Hey folks, what's up? Welcome back to another Poem Master video. So today we're going to talk about Holiday Skyla and Togekiss, which we will be summoning on later today. So tune in for that. Should be fun, hopefully, and hopefully I don't get shafted. Because that would be, I would prefer if we don't. If we do, I mean, what can I do about it? It'd be nice if we don't. So anyways, let's get into today's topic. We're going to talk about Togekiss, Skyla, and the banner. So, first things first, let's get into this unit and sort of learn about it, right? So, it is a tech sync pair, flying tech, right? And it might not be what it seems to be on the surface, right? On the surface, it seems like, try attack, air slash. Seems like it's trying to, status and disrupt your opponent, which it does, right? But once you get into more deeper into the unit, and look at the sync all that stuff, you would find that this is an insanely high power sync nuker. So, without getting, should do decent damage as well. Without getting too ahead of ourselves, let's go over the basics first. So, HP, almost 600, which is good. It's really, really good HP. Defense are, physical defense is kind of right? Special defense is okay, I guess. And for your offensive stats, you don't care about the physical attack because there's nothing there. And you got 272 special attack, which is not terrible. It's not terrible, right? For attack unit. And then got 232 speed, which is could have been better, I guess. As for the moveset, you got Air Slash, which your 2 gauge, flying type, special, single target, moderate chance of flinching the opponent, 95% accuracy, right? You got a flinching move. Obviously, Togekiss, nowhere near the best flincher in the game, right? In terms of rates, right? You got Kukui up there in terms of range, right? You got stuff like Licia, AoE, right? So there's Air Slash over there. X special attack, because why not? You got Tri attack, which actually pretty decent base power, right? Good base power on Tri attack, because it is a normal type move. Normal type moves tend to have higher base attack, because they're not super effective against anything, so they have to create an advantage for normal type moves, so they usually give them higher base power, right? So, this one has a small chance of leaving the target burned, paralyzed, or frozen. Obviously, that is random. Which is a bit of an issue when we're talking about its grid, right? 100% accuracy, special, all that stuff. 3 gauges. Gift of Joy is your trainer move, raises your speed and crit rate, so +1 on speed, +1 on crit rate. Sharply raises attack, defense, special defense, accuracy, or evasion of all allied sync pairs on random. So it's basically all the presents from Rose Santa, except you don't increase your whole team's speed. And well, I guess you can if you... Actually, no, there's no speed on this one. Oh, no, it's just attack, defense, special defense, accuracy. Oh, never mind. So, yeah, you don't raise your whole team speed. You raise your own, which technically contributes to your whole team speed. And then you raise your own crit rate instead. Which is honestly not as good as all the presents. But, hey, it's not a support. It's here to do damage, so it makes sense for itself, raising its crit, right? Sync move, Good Tidings Air Slash. This move's power increases if the target is affected by a status condition, which, as a tri-attack user, relatively easy to do, right, for the most part. So as for the passive, you got Super Interference, which basically combines Hostile Environment 1 and Aggravation 1 into, like, one passive, I guess, right? And then you got Foul Fighting 5, which increases your moves by 50% when the target is flinching, trapped, or confused. And then you got Flying Shift, which turns your normal type moves, in this case, Tri Attack, to a flying type move. So, let's, look back at the syncer. So basically, without the grid, right? Without the grid, it kind of just here to, like, randomly burn, paralyze, or freeze your opponent, which is terrible by the way in this game, because you do not want that randomness. If you're just using it for like a unit to to status your opponents. You know, this Holiday Skyla might be one of the worst because, again, it's random. You don't want random because in this game, when you're trying to paralyze or confuse or burn your opponent, you're not only just trying to status them, you're also trying, in most cases, activate one of your striker's passes, right? Either either be burn synergy, paralysis synergy, what's the other one called? Freeze synergy, right? You're trying to activate one of those as well, and if it's random, once you get it onto your opponent, you can't status it again, right? Unless it gets rid of the status by itself, right? So that's the issue here. And then Air Slash, like I mentioned before, I mean, it had a good, flinch chance, not bad, but you have better options, right? You got Ace Rolla, who's free, who has, same flinch chances. Kukui, higher flinch chances. Lissy Altaria, Grant, and Auroras, right? AoE flinch. So when you're looking at it, and okay, you get this, again, random stats, like you can't rely on this at all. So 1 out of 5 Skyla and Togekiss is completely what the heck, right? Has no clue what it's doing here and doesn't make much sense. And it's pretty bad. However, the Synchron makes it so much better and makes it incredibly powerful, right? Synchron makes it incredibly powerful. So when we're looking at the Synchron, it turns Skyla from like a status disruptor into a very, very good damage dealer, right? You got a lot of stuff in here increasing your damage. First of all, let's talk about the Sync Nuke. You got Rising Tide over here, which, that's a Sync Nuke onto your Sync move that already gets boosted if the opponent is affected by status, right? Rising Tide, the more the stats has been raised, more powers of Sync moves can be whatever stats, right? Which, you are relatively good at doing. Because not only do you raise your own special attack over here, you also have Gifts of Joy, which gives you 2 random stats here, 1 speed over here, and then crit over here, and then again, you get +2 on this as well. So relatively easy to max out on Rising Tide. And then on top of that, you also have Flinch Hitter 5, so if the opponent is also flinched, that's an extra 50% on top of the Rising Tide Sync Nuke, right? And on top of, again, your built-in, again, this is not too much, it's only 20%, but still, right? So you will be doing a lot of sync move damage if you run something like this, right? Incredible sync move damage, which is fantastic. And not only can you do good sync move damage, you can do good regular damage as well, because you have Ramming Speed over here, extra 30%. You got Dirty Fighting over here, another extra 30%, right? If the opponent is, this one's, if you have your speed maxed out, well, it doesn't have to be maxed out, but, to get the best, obviously, multipliers, you have to max it out. And then over here, if the opponent's status has extra another 30%, so that's 60% over here. And then on top of that, you pick up Free Synergy 2. Although for this case, you probably would need a dedicated freezer. Freezer. No, unit that freezes, not like freezer, not the the thing you put your ham sandwiches in. No, you don't put your ham sandwich. Why would you put your ham sandwich in a freezer? Your popsicles in. That was a terrible example. You would need someone else to freeze the opponent. Right, because again, Tri Attack not very, very reliable. On top of like not really high rates, it's also like random, split between 3. So just going for like the highest amount, like that's wait, can you get? Is it enough energy? All right, looks like it is. Anyways, yeah, 60% over there, 80% over there, and on top of that, your passive Foul Fighting 5. That's extra 50% over there, right? So 130, that's a lot. That is a lot of multipliers, right? Obviously, relatively hard to set up. Foul Fighting 5 over here, you have to have the target. Well, I guess you could flinch relatively easily. But yeah, you do need something to freeze and something to max out your speed, right? Which is relatively hard. I guess the best option over here would be Sabrina. Sabrina gives you some speed. Actually, Serena doesn't even max it out. Yeah, I don't even know what could like fully max this out. Let's see, how much speed do you get over here? +2, +2. Sabrina gives you another +2, +4. Yeah, Sabrina can't even max it out. But you do need Sabrina for the extra crit, right? I guess Meganium, and like sync with Meganium once to get the sun out, so get the max out to the speed, also max out the crit and special attack. Very, very roundabout way to do, like, so is the max damage technically possible? Well, Togekiss, right? The whole 130%. It is technically possible, very, very hard, probably not worth it. So there's that. Oh, the other thing with Serena is you could also side beam and confuse the opponent, so you don't have to waste your turns, going for air slashes, I guess. But if you somehow you manage to max all that out, right? This thing's an absolute monster in terms of damage. Tri attack, right? Again, tri attack, it's not like it has bad base power. It's very, very good base power, right? That's, again, 5 out of 5, but still, right? Because, again, a normal type has good base power. And then on top of that, extra 130%. And it's not like your special attack is bad either. It's not good compared to Striker, but for a tech, that's really, really good, right? So this thing, again, on the surface, when you don't get into the grid, it seems like a sort of status disruptor. But once the grid is entered in the equation, this is an absolute fantastic damage dealer, right? As for some other stuff on the grid, as Impervious, which is cool, I guess. Sharp Entry for the extra crit, I guess. It doesn't really matter. All your stuff is like up here. I'm gonna reach that. Team Lucky Entry, so you come in the battle and then randomly raises those stats by 1 for a whole team. So it's like that Rosantha one, except it's only +1 not instead of +2. And then you got Speedy Entry over here, which again, not really relevant. It's just so far away from all the action, right? Well, not that. Scorcher 2 increases the amount of damage it takes from burn. No one cares. Burn doesn't do too much damage, honestly. I mean, I guess it does. I mean, it did do like decent damage against the Solgaleo co-op, but usually opponents have like a lot of lesson burns and just doesn't do too much. But yeah, it does. It's a good unit overall, right? It does a lot of damage. However, I mean, it's just not really. It's slightly hard to run for one, right? And it's quite demanding of your team in terms of team comp wise, and also it's just another. I don't know. I'm just kind of like, I guess there aren't really that many great sync nukers for flying types. Like Nate has inertia, and like that's about it. And Nate has also like terrible offensive stats. But it's like not a big deal. Like blue, if you want a flying type to deal good damage, you got blue, right? Well, maybe you don't have blue, but blue's out there in the regular pool. So as usual, like I mentioned with the Erica video, in terms of if you're gonna summon on this banner or not, it's mainly like either you just really, really like Skyla, like Togekiss, whatever, go for it. If you're like a collector, you gotta get like every single one of these, and you have to go for this because it's seasonal. It's only around here once a year. But outside of that, I don't think most people really would need to spend on this banner at all. Again, this is not something that like if you miss, you're gonna be kicking yourself a year later. Hopefully, unless they like just release like some very, very Togekiss specific stage in the next year or something, right? But yeah, it's not gonna be a big game breaker if you don't get it. Again, it's nice, right? And if you're really choosing between like either a Holiday Skyla or Holiday Erica, I'd probably go with Erica, honestly. Erica's just so much better. I mean, obviously they serve completely different roles. This one does hella damage. Erica heals a lot, right? I personally do value healers a bit more than just damage dealers, right? So there's that. Also to consider, the Sing Suit Kanto Trio banners dropping in a few days, and could potentially be coming soon. Gloria, Steven, Cynthia's banners are still up, right? So yeah, again, also if you are, a person who does spend a bit of money on this game, I guess, something to consider would be the step up banner, because those would save you a lot of money, right? Those do save you a decent amount. So, but yeah, in general, it's probably something to skip, right? Unless again, and also do keep in mind if you want to get if you really want to get Skyla Togekiss and make it really, really good, you kind of do need like 3 copies, right? Like, one copy really isn't going to cut it. One copy only get free synergy too, right? As like the big thing here. Like, at 2 out of 5, you still don't even, like, you don't get Rising Tide, don't get Ramming Speed, don't get Dirty Fighting 3. It's really like, at 3 out of 5 is where you like get the like most potential out of Skyla Kiss. Is that an acceptable nickname? So yeah, just some things to consider, right? If you're gonna go for Skyla, you have to go all in, right? Unless you have like a move candy, somewhere, right? If you won, I don't know, got top 12k, I guess you probably spend one of those. But yeah, it's definitely something that you could probably skip over. Also, New Year's is coming up. Last time around New Year's, they dropped Cynthia and Steven, which was pretty big, right? So yeah, I'd probably just hold on to gems right now. Kanto Trio also again coming back. All those banners, great banners that are around right now that are potentially coming. I just don't think it's something really worth throwing gems on, right? Especially since it needs a lot of investment. So anyways, that's maybe this one. I guess hope you guys enjoyed it. I, as always, will be summoning on the banner later tonight, so tune in. That should be fun, hopefully. And yeah, let me enjoy this video from my channel for some more Polar Masters content. Messed up the outro, but who cares? And I'll see you guys in the next one.